Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Really means a lot to me. This is a trend I'm seeing. It's actually something that I've been discussing on this channel since the beginning, but it's being the value of being an assistant, clinical trials assistant, and how that is your strategic career launchpad. And I'm specifically talking at the site level. And in a 2025 and beyond world, these roles are happening at the research site level for people without prior experience. Yes, this job, the CTA job, exists at CROs, it exists at sponsors, but at the site level, it's most likely to be an entry level role. At the CRO and sponsor, it varies. Yes, it can be entry level, but at the site, it is almost always entry level. We literally just hired three people at my site this past month, Yuma Clinical Trials, that are essentially clinical trials assistants. Um, and it's your strategic career launchpad. One of them, let me just give you the backgrounds of who they are. One of them is a phlebotomist by background, a CNA. The other one is an international medical graduate, a doctor from Mexico. And the other one is a front desk receptionist from a urology clinic. All those backgrounds, yes, they're all healthcare related, but in the past I've hired people completely outside of healthcare, same role. They can all use this career as their launch pad. 6 months from when we hire them as a clinical trial assistant, the goal is within 6 months to a year. Not everyone progresses at the same speed. Some of them even quicker. Some of them it could be 3 months. Will be a coordinator. So eventually you'll be a coordinator. So if you're trying to break into this life-changing industry, it is a field with massive opportunity. Just look at the people that work in this space. Very few people work in research and then leave. Like they stay. This is a lifetime career. And it just often feels like maybe the doors are locked and you're always caught in the entry level trap. But the clinical trial assistant at the small site level is the way to go. Many people look at this job title, though, assistant, and think it's just administrative work. It's a dead end. I'll be replaced by AI. I'm here to debunk this myth right now. This is the single most strategic entry point into this industry. And at the small site levels, I can speak very clearly on that. It's the only way to get in. So from day one, you're learning. You're not getting coffee. You're not just going to buy dry ice. You're not just going to buy snacks for the patients. I mean, you're doing all that stuff too, but you're also getting hands-on exposure to real trials. This week, our staff, they're already getting training to be a coordinator from two of our sponsors. And yes, there'll be the assistants. They're going to do data entry. They're going to file regulatory documents. They're going to schedule patients. Yes, our AI does that, but we are also having them do the pre-screening. They're just learning the fundamentals. They're both in the CRC Academy. The third one, actually, all three are in the CRC Academy. Two of them already started, one of them starting in a month, but they're all in the CRC Academy. You're learning the language, you're learning the processes, you're learning our SOPs, you're building a professional network that will accelerate your career. And there's like a three-pillar uh, concept I like to look at. There's the regulatory side, there's the source data side, and then there's patient recruitment. And these are the three areas that these CTAs help us out at my site. Filing regulatory docs. Yesterday, I taught two of them how to put themselves on a delegation of authorities log and how to take that to the PI the old-fashioned way by hand and have him sign off on that. We are currently looking for the training logs, the studies that they happen to be on. The training logs are in some other portals outside of systems that we use. It's the sponsor controlled portal. Since I'm not directly involved in any of the studies and the main coordinator is not here, she's out of the office, we're having the CRA help us with another one of the coordinators, the backups, figure out how to get them on the training logs. They're learning all this stuff. They're learning our SOPs. I'm routing our SOPs for signature. They did their GCP, their IATA. They're in the CRC Academy. So that's regulatory. On the source side, they're already starting to do things like drawing blood in the case of the phlebotomist and the IMG. That's not an issue. Processing lab samples, entering the data in the source and in the EDC. They're already doing that stuff. They're learning what an IRT is. They know that you can't screen a patient without IRT access. They know that you can't dispense medication without IRT access. They know that they can't actually be on a study without being on a DOA log. So they're learning things in only like their first week. And then patient recruitment. This is probably the easiest step, easiest and most difficult, depending on the person. But we hire people that we know can do this well. All medical background. In the case of the international medical graduate, it's not going to be any issue. Understanding the risks and benefits of the studies. They're on Patient ACE, which is our patient recruitment portal, responding back to the patients, pre-screening them. They already learned we made them cheat sheets for the inclusion exclusion criteria on the two studies that they're helping us on. So this is what they actually do. And it boils down to being the organizational backbone of our site. Like the real coordinators, the experienced ones, they're actually busy answering important emails from CRAs and making sure there's no deviations occurring with this patient and making sure that the IP is reconciled properly. The assistants, they're the ones doing the little stuff, but those are the backbone, the organizational backbone of what we do. So tracking the data, tracking the supplies, the central point of communication, they're already both in touch with the CRAs for the studies to make sure that the entire study is running smoothly. And that I told them this on the first day. You want to keep patients happy and safe, number one. That's your priority. Number two, keep the sponsors happy vis-a-vis your CRAs. Number three, keep our investigators happy by making life easy for them. And number four, keep your teammates happy. That's it. You do all that, you make management happy, you're going places in this industry. So, what are some of the skills? Attention to detail clearly is number one. Somebody carefully reviewing IE criteria, someone carefully reviewing a source document, someone carefully reviewing a patient and whether they qualify for a study or not. Problem solving under pressure. So, getting training, we cannot screen this week because our coordinator who has IRT access is gone. We have our backup trying to get her IRT access. She's telling me we can screen hopefully by Thursday, but these two assistants, they're helping her with all these things. Well, what's missing and what can we do and how can we get this IRT access as well? So they're problem solving under pressure. This whole time, patients are also texting them, hey, we would like to be in the study. Um, you know, the whole logistics of keeping the patients happy is what's going on now. And then interlocking everything. So processes and systems, how patient ACE connects with our eSource and how the eRegs and all the portals and where are you going to find all your access and getting access in the IRB. This work essentially forges skills that are pure gold in our industry and meticulous attention to detail because even a single error can have huge, huge consequences. Proactive problem solving because these things never work perfectly. And then these are non-negotiable for the foundation of every clinical research career going forward. And I told the international medical graduate, you can be a medical monitor within 5 or 10 years. And the other ones can do project management. They can do whatever they want. This is the beauty of our industry. And it starts from CTA to clinical research powerhouse. So imagine if the CTA is at the base and then the arrow splits into clinical research coordinator, clinical research associate. So you got different arrows, or you could look at it like a tree branching out. But this is the base, is the CTA. So where does this world lead for you ambitious ones or maybe not so ambitious ones? The two most common and powerful leaps are the coordinator, which clearly obvious if you're at a site, or a CRA. And then after, even before CRA, maybe project management, maybe study startup specialist, maybe working for a tech vendor, maybe getting into more senior level roles at some of these startup companies that are not sites. There's a tremendous value of having on the ground, on site experience. We are currently in the decade of innovation, especially with site-centric technology tools. All these companies want to hire people with site experience. So if your foundation is built on a site, this is the game changer. So when you apply for that job with a vendor, maybe it's with Creo, maybe it's with Viva, maybe it's with a biotech, maybe it's with a CRO. You don't just say your degree. You say, I worked at a site. I've done, I've helped answer deviations. I've been there in the thick of it during database locks. I've resolved queries. I understand trial master file. I understand the on-the-ground experience of the regulatory binder. And so this is the building block. You can go on to medical writing, some other things that further branch out: medical writing, pharmacovigilance, which our international medical graduate can do, project management, which I mentioned before, and regulatory affairs. But the path isn't just going up like vertically, it's also out. So like I talked about the vendors and the tech vendors in our space, that's going to be happening going forward. You are like a Swiss Army knife. Once you become a coordinator, you're a Swiss Army knife. So these are the actionable things you can do right now to maximize your experience as a CTA, to first get the job and then maximize your experience, right? You need to absorb everything. It's going to be overwhelming at first. You got to be a sponge. Don't just do the task. Ask why behind it. I spent probably 4 hours with the new hires yesterday going through the why. Shout out to Lana. She's one of our more senior coordinators. She spent hours with them as well on the why behind why you do it. Why is this document filed here? Why is a DOA log needed? What's a 1572? Why do we need it? Why do we do an informed consent? Why do we randomize? Why do we screen fail? You gotta learn this stuff. All right? And volunteer for new tasks. Show the team you're hungry for more. One of our team members is already applying for new studies. I'm going to add them to a NATO next week, who's one of our sponsors of this show as well. And that's it. So stop waiting for the perfect door to open. Build your own, start your journey, go find the small sites in your area. Go tell them you want to be a clinical trial assistant. The international medical graduate told us she's gonna intern. Let me just intern. Well, that lasted 2 days because we let her intern for 2 days and I said, you know what? You're hired. And so she's officially on the payroll today. Like, subscribe, comment, share for more career strategies, and let me know what part of the clinical research industry you're most excited about. Good luck out there.